Good morning, everyone, and welcome into your new advanced performance management class. I hope everyone is fine and passionate for this new course. This is Matlub Ilahi, your course leader. I will be leading this course, Advanced Performance Management. So, first of all, let me give you a little bit introduction of myself. But before this, I would like to congratulate you. Before introducing myself, I would like to congratulate you for choosing this wonderful course. The course Advanced Performance Management, which is which has a lot of opportunities in today and in the future. So I would like to congratulate you for choosing the right course for you. And I'm sure this course, this advanced performance management course, this our journey, which will continue over next 4 months, almost 4 months, you will be having a lot of learning about this course. And I may guess you would be repositioning your career choices as well after learning this course. Okay, so a little bit introduction of mine is with more than 14 years of teaching, I have helped thousands of students to pass and qualify not only the ACCA, but other professional exams as well, CIMA, ICAW. Okay, and this course, Advanced Performance Management, is very close to my heart. You can say I am living this paper. I am living this paper, and I want to live my whole life for this paper, this subject, Advanced Performance Management. You might be wondering what I am saying. Yes, that is true. I am working as a consultant in the environment in one of the environmental management company as a sustainable climate finance consultant. So I am living advanced performance management. And further, I am starting my PhD. Okay. So that is also in advanced performance management. So I would be living my whole life for this paper. So you can now imagine how important this paper is for me. I am developing new horizons for this paper. I am working on exploring the new dimensions for this paper, advanced performance management, this subject, whole subject. So in nutshell, this subject flows in my blood, and you will feel all this passion and excitement when I will be teaching this course. And I'm sure you might have heard from your friends or your colleagues how much passionate I am for this paper. Okay, so this is a little bit introduction of mine. Now it is your turn to little bit introduce yourself, little bit. Okay, so I normally have two questions to ask. Two questions. The first question is, what is the motivation behind choosing this paper? This is a very important question for me. Okay, what is your motivation, or what factors supported you, or what factors drove you to choose this paper? Okay, and the second question is whether it is your first attempt or second attempt. So please, I would invite everyone to uh, answer to these questions. What is your motivation behind this paper? So let's start with Bhavna. Hello, Bhavna ji. Please share your thoughts about what is your motivation behind this wonderful paper. Hi. Even you guys, you can speak as well. Okay. If you guys feel easy, you can speak. Okay. All right. This is your first time advanced performance management. And Bhavna, what is the motivation behind choosing this paper? Okay, next. Uh, all right. Thanks a lot. Your friends shared very positive feedback for this paper. Heard from my friends, colleagues doing this paper that they have really enjoyed this paper, and the prospects to pass this paper is way less difficult. Indeed, this paper is not difficult. If anyone having kind of thoughts about this paper is not difficult. Okay, so you feel free about this. Thank you very much, Pavna, for your sharing your thoughts. Okay, next is please Nasreen. Would you like to please share your thoughts about this paper, the motivation behind choosing this paper, and whether it is the first or second time you are attempting?
Hello, everyone. This is the first time I'm doing this paper, and my first and foremost motivation is that you're teaching it, sir. I told you because I learned SBL from you, and it was very interesting. So I was actually doing AFM, and I failed. So I say, let's move to another. I found AFM very difficult, so that's why I say, let's do performance management now.
All right, so it means you have shifted from advanced financial management. So I'm sure you are going to have a new world of knowledge and wisdom.
Okay, because our SBL classes was very interesting. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. But I use word wisdom as well, because advanced performance management is more about application to our personal lives as well. You will see this paper. Yes. So that's why I use word wisdom as well. Wisdom. Thank you. Thank you, Nasreen.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Next is Wasif. Wasif, would you like to please share your thoughts on this paper?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, actually, it's my second attempt. The first one, I think it was in 2018. I don't remember exactly. For the motivation, actually, I just want to finish my ACCA, and I got feedback that you are the best tutor for ACCA and for this paper. That's why I choose you.
Thanks a lot for choosing my course, and I will try my best. Definitely, I will try my best to not only boost your knowledge, but also help you to qualify as well. Because when a lot of students have in the past sessions, in the previous sessions, a lot of students have come to join my courses. Even a lot of students they came for my crash courses. After attending the crash course, they pass. Even unfortunately, they were failing for 3 times, 4 times. So I am looking forward to hear good news from you in December.
Sure.
Thanks a lot. All right. So next, Vishaka, please. Vishaka. All right. Hello, sir. First time topics seem interesting, just like your SPL. Thanks a lot. You have studied SPL with me. And yeah, this course, you would be enjoying more because you already have studied the SPL. So basically advanced performance management and strategic business leader, both papers have a strong correlation with each other. Strong correlation. So those students who come after studying SPL, they even enjoy more, okay? Because you already have cleared a lot of models, theories, and concepts. Thanks a lot, Vishaka. Okay, next is the Kimi. Hi, Kimi. Your name is very wonderful, Gulab. You know the meaning of Gulab? You know, rose. All right. So share with us your motivation behind choosing this paper and whether it's the first time or second time. Oh, all right. You studied with me P3 in Mauritius. Oh, wow. All right. Thanks for remembering me. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, Kimi, for sharing your thoughts. Next, Yoshna, please. Hi, Yoshna.
Hi. It's my first attempt. Oh, actually, I'm starting back ACCA after 5 years. So it's my first paper in level 3 that I'm taking.
All right. Okay.
And honest.
Sorry?
No, and I'm doing the APM because like everyone just said, most of my friends said that it was the easiest paper. So we're giving it a try.
Okay. So at strategic professional level, this is your first paper?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So it is good to hear. Okay, because you have, I guess you have not studied SBL yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So, okay. I will need to like keep this point in mind. Okay, thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts. But not only this is the easy paper, but the paper full of knowledge as well. Okay, full of knowledge. So you will be enjoying definitely. Next, Anushka, please. Hello, Anushka.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. So this is my second attempt, and I did the first class review 2 years ago in Mauritius. And I can confirm, yes, the wisdom that we gain by attending your classes, listening to all the lectures, your experiences, etc. This is really enriching. So after 2 years, I decided to continue and finalize my ACCA because I've got only 2 papers to clear. And I was really happy to know that you are doing this class, and that's why I booked for this session.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for booking this session. And I'm sure you are going to have a lot of more wisdom, knowledge, and this paper, this session, we will try to not, I think one paper you are taking this exam only, this session?
Yeah, for the December session, I'm taking only APM.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So let's prepare for this paper together. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Yes. Yes. All right, and I think Madhu has left. Hello, Madhu. Hello. All right, this is your first time, and thanks a lot. You attended crash course with me, SBL. All right, and you passed. That's great. Yes, I already shared that there is a lot of similarities between SBL and advanced performance management. So if you have already studied SBL, then definitely it will be opening new doors of understanding and knowledge for you. You will grasp, you will understand the concepts in more deeper way after after studying the SBL. All right, thank you. I think everyone has already shared thoughts and views on advanced performance management. And I'm really pleased to see that many of my students are in class who have studied previously with me. I was in Mauritius from 2013 to 2019, almost 7 years. I have been providing my service in Mauritius, and there is no doubt that was the most beautiful time. That was the most beautiful time. Believe me, I really enjoyed all the love, all the affection, and all the attention that my students gave to me. Okay, and this is one of the reasons to continue these courses. Okay, one of the reason, and I will try my best. All those expectations you have from me, okay, of the interaction and making the class interesting. Although this is the online session, but I will try my best to give you a feel of like you are studying in class. Okay, I will try my best to break the monotony and give you a feeling of real like you are having in real class. All right. Yes, Yoshna, you can take SBL and advanced performance management parallel. There is no problem. There is no issue. You can take both papers parallel.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, Madhu, no problem. You can fix these problems. Okay. All right. So let's begin this wonderful paper with a famous statement which is part of this paper. This is called "What gets measured gets done." What gets measured gets done. Just 1 second, please. Okay, what gets measured gets done. This is a statement part of the advanced performance management. If I make this simple, this statement, and you would be amazed that a lot of people say that this statement belongs to Peter Drucker. You might have heard about the father of modern management, the Peter Drucker once said, if you cannot measure, you cannot control, you cannot done, you cannot achieve your goals if you cannot measure. This is the simple meanings of this statement. Okay, I am repeating. If we cannot measure something, we would not be able to manage that. We would not be able to control that. We would not be able to achieve that. I am trying to elaborate it. This shows that measurement is very, 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 very important thing, not only in our personal lives, but also for the organizations as well. You would be amazed that in the last couple of months, I have been working with textile industry in Pakistan. You might know textile industry is one of the most pollutant industry in the world, third most pollutant. Okay, it consumes a lot of natural resources such as water, For example, the t-shirts that you are wearing, you might be amazed that to bleach and dye 1 kilogram of a t-shirt fabric, which is called knitting, requires minimum, or means in many countries like Pakistan, here 200 liters of water is being consumed for 1 kilogram of fabric. 200 liters of water. Okay, and there's a lot of emissions, okay, lot of chemicals and dyes which are being discharged into the rivers, streams, and you would be amazed that the sea life, the river ecosystems have totally destroyed as a result of these toxic chemicals and dyes. In Pakistan, the textile industry was not bothering about all these things. But in the last couple of months, we have started some campaigns, we have started some initiatives, we have started working with textile manufacturers to change their processes and become more sustainable. You would be amazed. I also have worked with Mauritius, some textile factories in Mauritius, and you would be amazed that the factories in Mauritius are very sustainable, okay? Very sustainable mean their consumption of water is at the minimum level, their emissions are at the lowest level, and those water that they discharge into the oceans and rivers, this is treated before discharging. So you can feel proud that the textile industry in Mauritius is very sustainable, okay? Let's come back to the point, what gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. If we cannot measure, means there are a lot of businesses which are not measuring their climate footprints. What word I'm using? And you are the professional accountant, so you should also know. But in SVL, you might have heard this terminology, the footprints, environmental footprints. Environmental footprints mean the impact of an organization over the environment. Okay, so if organizations not measuring their emissions, their water, their chemicals discharge, or even their energy consumption, okay, it means they are not aware of this. Focus on my word. If they are not measuring, they are not aware of this. They don't know about this. And if they don't know about this, they would be unlikely to control all these areas. If they don't control these areas, let me tell you the bigger picture. Environmental regulation authorities are becoming very stricter. You might have seen in Mauritius as well, for example, that environment is very important for Mauritius. Okay, the climate is very important. Why? Because of the tourism industry. Imagine if the beaches or oceans get polluted. Imagine, okay, if the oceans and beaches get polluted, what would be the impact on the tourism industry, the hotel and resort industry? So that's why in Mauritius, the government is very concerned, very serious about the environment and climate. But unfortunately, this is not the case with a lot of other countries. Okay, so that is the reason. You would be amazed that the soil are contaminated. The underground water is contaminated. We are so lucky in Mauritius that in Mauritius, we can still drink tap water. Can you drink it or not? Tap water. Can you drink it or not? Tap water.
We can drink.
Yes, lucky you are. But this is not the case here. Here, the color of the underground water is now turned into black and pink. You would be amazed because of the chemicals, because of the toxic alkalis and salts which has been discharged into the rivers and streams, and it has penetrated underground. Okay, but now those companies which export to the European Union is becoming very strict. Now I'm giving you the bigger picture of what gets measured gets done in the context of this wonderful paper. The European Union is becoming very strict on the like imported and the environment. For example, from the next year, you may start seeing the tags on the cloths, the underside, the tags are put in the cloths. On those cloths, the companies, the manufacturers will be required to also mention their environmental footprints as well. For example, a t-shirt which you are wearing will contain the information about the water consumption, about the emissions, about the chemicals, about the CO2, all these will be mentioned. So imagine, look at the bigger picture. Those companies which are exporting to Europe and North America, and still they are not measuring their environmental footprints. Imagine what will be their status. What will be their status? They will be banned. They will be banned from exporting to Europe and America. They may lose their business. Now think the bigger picture. Think on the bigger picture. Losing business, losing market. This is part of advanced performance management. My dear, losing a business, losing a market is part of advanced performance management. Okay, is part of advanced performance management. And imagine if a company heavily rely upon the European markets, and if European markets put ban over its imports, that company will go fail. That is called corporate failure. Okay, so I am linking another wonderful topic of advanced performance management here in all this scenario. I hope you are understanding this bigger picture, that how companies are going to lose their business and markets which are not prepared for the future and which are not measuring their environmental footprints. This is one side. I have just shared with you the story, the one side. One side. In Bangladesh as well, you might have heard a lot of problems because the textile is the largest employment generating sector, the largest contributor towards the GDP, the largest export sector of Bangladesh, but unfortunately, the Bangladeshi people are also paying the price of this growth. This is the one side. Other side, let's talk about what gets measured gets done. By the way, we are all talking advanced performance management, keep in mind, because all these discussions you will be having in the coming chapters. Let's talk about human capital. Human capital, this word you might have heard in these recent times, human capital. What is human capital? Previously, the employees were considered as the burden for the organizations, or they were considered as the source of waste or source of problems for the organizations. But in 21st century or in modern times, the employees have a different status now. Companies have started thinking them as their human capital. Human capital. So soon you may start seeing in balance sheet, companies may start reporting how many skills workers they have. Is a part of non-financial performance indicators or as non-financial performance measures. Yes, my dear, there are two types of performance measures. One are called financial, other are called non-financial. So soon you may start seeing, the companies may start reporting their non-financial capital, such as how many skilled employees they are, how many happy employees they are. Happiness would be a new capital. Happiness, would be a new capital. Okay, and further, the social capital, intellectual capital. You might have thought that I am talking in the context of integrated reporting, where there are 6 capitals. Yes, my dear, soon you can see, even today, there are a lot of companies which are reporting their performance in the form of 6 capitals. For example, in Mauritius, you can see the MCB group or IBL group, okay, or Lux Resorts, for example, all the GML group or Terra, for all they are reporting their performance in the form of integrated reporting or 6 capitals. This means, let me come back to the point, they are measuring their financial capital, their manufacturing capital, their social capital, their natural capital, their human capital, and their intellectual capital. So this is the future of reporting, and this is the future of advanced performance measurement. Okay. All right, I hope you got the bigger picture of what gets measured gets done. Okay, move on. Okay, so first of all, let me give you Advanced Performance Management in numbers. What you are going to have in this course. Advanced Performance Management in numbers. Including this week, today week, there will be 17 weeks total, 17 weeks of the course, plus you will have 2 extra study sessions. 17 weeks plus 2 extra study sessions. Every session will have 3 hours of study time, so total 51 plus almost 6 hours of study time. Okay. 50 plus exam focused practice questions you will have, and all these questions we will solve in the Excel or in the Word. Okay, because you will be having your computer-based exam. So all these questions will be done in computer-based style. 100% syllabus will be covered, 100% from A to Z. Okay, even I would recommend you to all the time keep the syllabus, latest syllabus with you and cross-matching our all topics which we cover. 20 plus assignments will be, this time I am innovating this my course further, okay, by introducing the modern style of assignments. Okay, so you will see all this new features of this course. I say new features of this course. There will be 2 mid-session mocks. You also keep in mind, okay, to help you to know what gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. 2 mid-session mocks. First mock will be after the end of 35 to 40% of syllabus, and the second mock will be after 80 to 90% of the syllabus we will have. Okay, and then this course will be closing at 30th October. Okay, 30th October, the 17th week of our syllabus, our course, 17th week, we will be closing. So I thought to give you a numbers point of view. What gets measured gets done. Agenda for today, what we are going to discuss today. First of all, we will be having a picture of 21st century organization and its performance management challenges. Then relationship between advanced performance management, SPL and PM, basic concepts from fundamental performance management, main capabilities, understanding syllabus, approach, how I will lead, and then we will look at the basic concepts of advanced performance management. All right, so let's start next. Let's talk our discussion. You might have heard that I prepare my students, I equip my students with the latest corporate stories. And this is extremely important. I don't want to limit your knowledge. just do the syllabus. And by the way, this is not the requirement, only requirement of ACCA. ACCA also wants you to build a strong foundation of your knowledge. You should know broader, you should know deeper, you should know more about what is going on around you. Okay, not only you should know the knowledge of your industry, but also you should have the knowledge of industries across as well. So that's why I thought to give you this few minutes we can spend on this topic. Performance management challenges of modern 21st century organizations. We have seen during this pandemic, there are a lot of companies which have failed, and there are a lot of companies which have grown, which have thrived, which have flourished. Okay. If I ask you this question, this question is particularly related to our advanced performance management. What were the reasons, if I ask you this question, what were the reasons that a lot failed during this pandemic and a lot thrived and prospered? So would you like to share your thoughts on this point? What were the differentiators? Can you please throw light on these points?
The ones who were able to catch up on online to do online selling and to do everything online and companies who were able to do online work from home was the one who were able to go through this pandemic. Like they were already working on these type of projects for their employees or clients. They already made the app, like MCB already made the app for Juice. I know you like MCB app a lot. So yeah, the other one.
Exactly. Yes.
So the other one, yeah.
Okay, thanks. So your point, you have explained that the main factor was that those who were prepared, who already have shifted a little bit online, who were already familiar with the digital concepts and digital organization, and those who quickly adapt. This word I'm using, adaptability. You also, please, if you have a pen and notebook next to you, adaptability is the next new skill. Please write it down and also teach this skill to your younger ones. Adaptability is the new gold now. Okay, so those who are able to adapt their processes, processes, those who were able to adapt their processes, they were able to adjust with the challenges of pandemic. And those who fail to adapt, they fail completely. Okay, so you see those companies who were already on digital platforms, such as, I'm sharing a few names. For example, this app which we are using right now, okay, Zoom. Imagine this company has not very long history, but this company is now one of the most successful, or you can say one of the winners of the pandemic. One of the winners of the pandemic. Similarly, we have seen those companies such as the Netflix, for example, or we have seen, for example, the Amazon, Facebook, Apple, okay, these Google, all these companies have thrived during the pandemic, other than the pharmaceutical companies, other than those companies who were making masks, who were making sanitizers. So imagine those companies who changed, who shifted their business processes, they thrived. Anyway, let's talk about the few points and then we will move on. Number one, the biggest challenge for the modern century organizations is the technology disruption. Last day, I was listening a podcast on Apple about how the boundaries between the industries are falling, how the boundaries among the industries are vanishing. Have you understood this, what I'm saying? Anyone has understood this concept? The boundaries among industries are vanishing. This means if you think your competitors are from your industry, you are at mistake. If you think you are a watchmaker, for example, you are a Tag Heuer, or you are Rolex, maker of the world, one of the most sophisticated watches, you think your competitors are from watch industry? Are you thinking right? My dear, I am giving you bigger picture. You're thinking right or wrong? If you are executive or Rolex watches, for example, okay, and you think your competitors are from the Swiss industry or from the other watchmakers across the world, you are thinking wrong. Who would be your biggest competitor? Imagine. Hello, can you hear me? Who would be you are a watchmaker, and who would be your biggest competitor?
Apple Watch, Samsung Watch, Huawei Watch.
Oh yes, your biggest competitor is Apple. Your biggest competitor is Apple. I was once watching an interview. By the way, this is a little bit my old example, but there's no problem if I share with you. You are new students. In 2015, I think, Apple Watch 1 was launched. And one of the journalists asked the Swiss watch industry, you know, in the world, the Swiss watch industry is the leading. One journalist asked that, are you afraid of Apple Watch? Are you threatened, feel threatening? The Swiss watch industry representative replied, no, we are not threatened. Apple is doing something else, and we are prestigious. We have a history. We have a like kind of prestige. We have the value, and we have the highly respected in the world. So why should we feel threatened from Apple? And you would be amazed. Within 1 year of time, Apple had already snatched away 30% of the market share from Swiss watch industry. Can you believe? Can you believe 30% share snatched away from the Swiss whole watch industry by Apple alone? This is, my dear, called technological disruption. Imagine today we are talking about 5G. We are talking about automation. We are talking about blockchain. We are talking about fintech. We are talking about robotics. And we are talking about cloud computing. Okay? All these, what they are doing. Well, yeah, we are talking about big data. Okay? So every industry, every traditional industry is feeling threatened. Even think of the car industry. They are feeling threatened. Who are the new entrants in the market? Tesla. And there are a lot of new startups are coming. You would be amazed. Do you know about this, my dear? Are you aware that in the future, in the next 10 years, 5 to 10 years, you may see more electric cars and you may see little diesel or petrol cars. You may see the new startups and new brands of cars on the roads in Mauritius, and few cars from Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Suzuki, Mitsubishi, etc. Okay? I hope you have got this point. Clear. This is called technology disruption. Move on. Climate change is the next. Climate change is the next. I already have shared with you, I have already discussed with you on this point, that how that the climate change is real force, and how the governments, the regulatory authorities, they are changing their regulation, they are changing their standards, they are changing their protocols, and even the consumers now are becoming more and more conscious about the environment, about the footprints, about the waste, and that is a new phenomenon. That is a new phenomenon. So those companies which are already prepared for this climate change, they will be leaders. Next, customers. Next is the customers. So customers today, to customers, how aware are the customers? Just think of your smartphones. Okay, how much time you spend on one video, or how much time you want to spend on one post, you would like to scroll down. Is it the fact or not? Hello, my dear. Is it the fact or not? You want to get more in less time. Okay? Our attitudes have changed. Our behaviors have changed. Social media has impacted a lot our behaviors. Okay? We are different than what we were 10 years back. So this is a new opportunity or new challenge for the companies of the modern companies or modern organization of 21st century. This was not the case 20 years back. Ask your parents, okay? They were not like us. We are different. You agree or don't agree? You agree? We every day go for shopping. We every day go for hoteling. We every day go out for dining. What was this? This was the case 20 years back. We have Netflix and we have this, we have that. How much serious are we about our health and fitness? Please share your thoughts. How much serious are we about our health and fitness? Less or more? This is new phenomenon. Compliance. Next is the compliance. More and more regulatory authorities are tightening the screw over the compliance. About compliance, for example, about the customers, about the data, privacy, for example. This has become the new biggest threat for the companies of the modern times. Okay, cyber attacks have become the new normal. So cybersecurity is the new normal, the one of the biggest threat becoming for the companies. Why? Because they have the data, and you might have heard about the Marriott case, Marriott Hotels data breach. You might have heard about that. Next, risks. Risk landscape has changed. Today, the modern organizations have different landscape of risk. They have more risks than the organizations had 20 years back. Okay, the risk of supply chain disruptions, the risk of competition, the risk from the customers, the risk from the suppliers, the risk from the climate change. For example, imagine you are a food producer, for example. You are a food producer and you heavily rely upon the agricultural products, and you import from Africa, for example. Okay, you import from Africa, for example, you import cocoa, you import vanilla, and you know the vanilla is grown where? Which country is the largest grower of vanilla? Hello? Your neighboring country.
Madagascar.
Your neighboring country, Madagascar. Okay? So imagine, because of the climate change, because of the massive rains and floods and heavy rains, the vanilla crop is damaged, causing prices go up many times, imagine the whole supply chain of vanilla is disrupted. Similarly, you get corn, you get cocoa, you get wheat, you get rice from Vietnam, for example. And in Vietnam, because of the climate change, the massive rains or droughts, they affect the quality of the rice crop. So your whole business model is at risk. Next, regulation. I already have discussed in compliance how regulations are changing. For example, the regulation about the stock exchange, regulation about the governance regulation. Let me give you example of the governance, for example. Okay, regulation about the board of directors, regulation about the compliance, regulation about the reporting, regulation about the directors, regulation about the internal controls, regulation about the emissions, regulation about the waste, regulation about the recycling, regulation about the whole life cycle of the products. Yes, this is also coming. This is also coming. You would be amazed that soon European Union is going to introduce these regulations as well, where companies will be required to buy back their produce. So a textile manufacturer will be, or a brand like such as Adidas will be responsible to buy back its produce. By the way, it is already happening in some industries in Europe. For example, the electronics manufacturers, they are responsible to buy back their products. Regulations are changing. Okay, competition is very interesting game now. Competition, I already shared with you, the boundaries between industries are vanishing. So new competitors are coming. Today, Amazon, for example, think of Amazon, for example. Amazon, tell me any industry in which Amazon is not present. Started from book industry, started from books. If you look at the Amazon history, started from books, then music, okay, CD players, renting CD players, and music. And today, what Amazon is not selling? From entertainment, Amazon Prime, it has totally reformed, or I would say reshaped the entertainment industry. Yeah, another example of digital disruption is entertainment industry. During the pandemic, what was the case with cinemas and theaters? My dear, I am asking you, an advanced performance management question may include this case. An advanced performance management question may include this case of cinema, theater industry. What happened to them, the theater companies, during pandemic? Who tried the online streaming platform? They are called online streaming platforms. They tried. Okay, competition has different now. Human capital is a new gold now. Companies are investing on the reskilling. What word I am using? Reskilling their employees. The old traditional skills may not have the place for the modern organization. My dear, listen carefully. If a person claims that the person has 20 years of experience, that experience may be less relevant for today organizations. Today organization needs new skills, new competencies, new specialties. And next, supply chain disruption. Modern organizations are challenging or having challenges with supply chain. Think of pandemic and how China was closed. I think you can tell me better stories than anyone else. You can tell me better stories. What type of situation you experienced last year, in June last year? Tell me. It is about supply chain. Hello? What type of challenges you faced? Mean, what type of products in short supply last year? Hello? My dear. Did you face the shortage of food or electronics or other daily life use products? Did you face shortage last year?
No.
You did not face?
No, they were available online.
No, but during pandemic, when borders were closed, when China was closed, okay, when China was closed, when the shipping lines were halted, when there were only few ships sailing in the seas, okay, every country has faced the shortage of supplies. Okay, every country on the planet has faced. Understand the point? So then the world started thinking differently, that why we should build our long supply chains. Why should we not set our supply chains in nearby? So when there is a problem, we can manage quickly. I guess, I hope you have got the bigger picture of good understanding about the performance management challenges of modern organization. Okay, I hope you have got the bigger picture. Move on. Okay, so what is the aim and use of this paper in corporate world? To apply relevant knowledge, skills, and exercise professional judgment in selecting and applying strategic management accounting techniques in different business contexts. What different business context mean? For example, there is a semiconductor industry, and other side, there is a hospital. On the one side, there is a school. On the other side, there is a theme park. On the one side, there is a textile factory. On the other side, there is a furniture company. Okay, so these are the different business contexts in which advanced performance management cases, questions are set. And to contribute to the evaluation of the performance of an organization and its strategic and operational development. Okay, all right, move on. Look at the diagram of advanced performance management, how this paper is related with other papers. Okay, if you look at this, it starts from the management accounting, also called F2 paper. Then its next level is performance management, called F5 paper. Its advanced level is advanced performance management. I mean, there are a lot of concepts which you have studied at performance management. You will be using those concepts. Okay, you will be using those concepts, little bit concepts. Okay, for example, the variance analysis, or for example, the budgeting, or for example, the risk, limiting factors, these type of life cycle, target costing, these type of concepts you would be using here at bigger level, at bigger picture. And yes, there is a strong correlation between strategic business leader and advanced performance management. Okay, strong correlation between these two papers. All right, so this is a relational diagram where you need to know how means what is the level of advanced performance management, what is the level of advanced performance management and its relationships with other papers. Okay, so here are the main capabilities. Main capabilities means in this course, you are going to have what learning? Here is the summary of all that learning. Use strategic planning and control models to plan and monitor organizational performance. My dear, here you will be learning about planning and control models. Next, assess the impact of risk and uncertainty on organizational performance. Here you will be learning about how different risk would impact performance. And next, here you will be learning about design of performance management systems. Design, yeah, Here you will be learning about technology. You will be learning about information systems. And you will be learning about what is a lean system. Lean system, okay? All right. You would be having some touch of softwares such as SAP, Oracle, kind of enterprise resource planning system, ERPS. Next, apply appropriate strategic performance measurement techniques in evaluating and improving organizational performance. Here, you will be learning about calculations, about financial performance measures, about non-financial performance measures, and at the end, advise clients and senior management on strategic business performance evaluation and on recognizing vulnerability to corporate failure. Here, you will be learning about how to evaluate performance of the organization, such as with balance scorecard, with building block model, with the performance pyramid, with activity-based budgeting, with value-based management. And at the end, you will learn a wonderful model of how to predict corporate failure. How to predict corporate failure. Yes, you will be learning two models of predicting and managing corporate failure. Okay, all right, move on. Here is the syllabus relational diagram. There are 5 sections in the syllabus, 5 sections. In part A, I already explained, by the way, all these 5 sections. So you can see how these 5 sections are interlinked with each other. I would say, and you also, from day one, you need to know about this, that every topic is linked with other topic. Don't learn APM in topics in isolation. Isolation means don't learn any topic of APM as if it does not have connection with other topics. Never, never. Every topic of advanced performance management has connection with other topics. That's why, and this you can see here in these arrows. Okay, here is the section A. Section A of the syllabus. What you are going, now I need to shift it on iPad. Because this involves some notes, some writing. Okay, so what you are going to learn in section A of the syllabus, what you are going to learn. You will be learning starting with strategic management accounting. Strategic management accounting. Okay, what is strategic management accounting? You might have heard about management accounting, but what is strategic management accounting? Strategic management accounting is used at the board level of the organization, at the strategic level of the organization for long-term decision making. Long-term decision making. So you will be learning here. Next, impact of external factors on performance management. In external factors, for example, pastel factors. For example, pastel factors. For example, 5 forces. How these factors would impact performance of the organization. Here is a very interesting point. You would be amazed. You have already studied these models. Yes, you already have studied these models in your previous subjects, such as pastel, such as 5 forces, such as generic strategies. But here, their use is different. In your previous paper, you studied PASTEL to analyze the external environment of the organization. Am I right? Hello? You studied 5 forces model to analyze the competitive position or competitive situation of an organization. Yes? Yes? Very good. But here, its application is different. How? Very simple. Very simple. You will learn how PASTEL factors would impact performance of the organization. For example, if a new regulation has been introduced, if a government is proposing a new policy, if there is a change in the interest rate, if there is change in exchange rate, if there is a change in the social behaviors, if there is a change towards like environment concerns, if people demanding more sugar-free products, okay, how these will impact performance of the organization. For example, there was a question in the past paper on the risk, where I can tell you the case, where the scenario explained that in the country A, for example, in country A, the people are becoming more health conscious and they prefer to choose sugar-free products. That is why the government of country A is proposing to introduce sugar tax. Introduce sugar tax, and the requirement was how the company should respond, how the company can avoid these risks, what action can be taken to avoid the impact on the, the question was how these changes would impact performance of the organization and what action the organization need to take. Imagine, so here you will be learning about in this way, impact on performance. Next, performance hierarchy. Yeah, my dear, performance hierarchy, you might have heard before, that how the goals, the objectives start flowing from top to the bottom of the organization. It starts from the mission. It starts from the mission of the organization, and mission is called purpose of the organization. So start from the mission, then critical strategies, then corporate objectives, then critical success factors, and then KPIs. What? KPIs. So how all these work together, this is called performance hierarchy. Next, performance management and control of the organization. Here you will learn different control tools. And what are control tools? What are control tools, my dear? These are called budgeting. Yes, yes, my dear. Budgeting is called control, but budgeting is a control tool. Budgeting is a control tool. So here you will be learning about the different budgeting systems, such as the incremental budgeting, rolling budgeting, zero-based budgeting, activity-based budgeting. Okay, and then you will be choosing which one is the best suitable for an organization. This is called advanced performance management. Here you will not be required to explain, keep in mind. You will be required to evaluate. This is the most famous, the most required verb at advanced performance management, evaluate. So you need to learn the meaning of evaluate. Okay, when you are required to evaluate, what does this means? What you have to do. Okay, evaluate. My dear, evaluate means I can tell you simple. When you are required to evaluate, it means you have to find out its suitability, whether this strategy, this action suits me or not. This technique suits me or not. So we will look at its pros and cons, its advantage and disadvantages. This is called advanced performance management. This is what I want you to learn from the very first day. Okay, good. All right. Next, changes in business structure and management accounting. Here you will be learning about the change in business structure. So what you will learn here? You will be learning about here wonderful theories such as business process re-engineering. Business process re-engineering. What is business process re-engineering and how it would impact performance of the organization? Next, other environmental and ethical issues. We will be learning here about the other environmental, such as you will be learning here about environmental management accounting. Environmental management accounting, you will be learning here, and the different techniques. There is a new addition in this new, from September, a new topic has been introduced as a part of environmental management accounting. This is called input-output analysis. So overall, you will be learning three techniques in environmental management accounting. Number one is called environmental activity-based costing. Number two, you will be learning about life cycle costing. And number three, the new addition to the syllabus, input, output analysis. Mean what is going in and what is out. If there is difference, where is that? Where is that? What is the difference? And a government may ask the company, yes, that some governments are proposing to introduce input-output methods as well. Yeah, in China, I got to know, in China, Chinese government provides water to industrial units. You would be amazed, and this is for your knowledge. You know, water is life. And unfortunately, a lot of countries still are not serious about water. Chinese government gives water and gets water back. Yes. Chinese government prices water. You might have heard water pricing. Water pricing. In Mauritius, it is also on industrial units. Yes, water pricing. So water pricing, government charges a price for every liter or every cubic meter of water. What government gives to the industrial unit, it gets back out of it as well. Okay, input, output analysis. Next, in section B, impact of risk and uncertainty on organizational performance. So you will be learning here about how risk and uncertainty would impact performance. So my dear, what will you learn here? You will learn here, for example, you will learn here about expected value. You will learn here about max max. You will learn here about max min. You will learn here about min max. Okay, and you will learn here about risk appetite. Risk appetite of stakeholders. So these type of topics you would be learning here as a part of risk and uncertainty. Move on. Next, section C. This is about technology. Performance measurement system and design. So what will you learning here? Performance management information system. Okay, performance management information system. For example, ERPS, Enterprise Resource Planning System. Or you would be learning here about the strategic information system. Okay, strategic information system. Different types of information system you will learn here, which are supporting the performance measurement of the organization. Ultimate purpose is measure performance, measure, ultimate purpose, measure and report performance of the organization. And by the way, even you are using SAP or you are using Microsoft Dynamics, or you are using Oracle, what type of software you are using, ultimate purpose is to capture, store, report data. Okay, so here you will be learning about that. Sources of management information you will learn here. What are the sources? Internal sources or external sources? If there are internal sources of data, what are the internal sources? And if there are external, what are they? And whether they are suitable to the organization or not. So these type of topics you will learn here. Next, recording and processing methods. Here you will learn how to capture data. Oh, very interesting. How to capture data for performance management, measurement, and reporting. Performance management, how to capture data. How to capture data. What, for example, supply chain company, for example, a trucking company, a shipping company, a logistics company, for example, how it would track the data about its trucks or its ships. How it can track? You may say there are GPS system, okay? Geo positioning system, for example, there are. So it can track its ships, its trucks, its logistic vehicles through that. Or in your course, there is another system called RFID. Through RFIDs, we can track our inventory data. RFID means radio frequency identification devices, RFID. Okay, you might have one example of RFID is when we go to your favorite brand at Bagatelle, for example. I don't know what is your favorite brand, but I usually go to Celio and the manager over there still sending me messages. Hey, Matloob, you are not coming in now. Okay, so when you buy something, all right, you have paid, but the cashier forgot to remove the tag, and you are about to leave the door. What may happen? What may happen? Hello?
You will be arrested.
Okay, the alarm start ringing. Exactly, Vishaka. Yes, Yoshna. Thanks, Roshni. Alarm start ringing. Okay, because the tags have sent a message to the alarm. Hey, I am going away. I'm going outside. Okay, so then they would request you to remove the tag. Understand how this happened? Because the tags are constantly sending the signals because there are chips inside the tags. The same is the case is over there when you go for the burger. What is the name of the burger? I have forgotten. They gave you a device. Okay, wait, hold this device and wait for them. What is the name of the burger? And burger I have forgotten. Very delicious burger that. Okay, bean. I think bean.
Mug and bean. No.
Mug and bean, yes, mug and bean, exactly. So they would ask you to hold it, and once your meal is ready, it starts ringing. Okay, this is another example of RFID devices. So here you will be learning about how RFID devices would help the organization to improve performance. All right. And my dear, next topic, data analytics. Here you will be learning about the data and its impact on performance measurement. Impact, you have seen, everything is in the context of performance, 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 performance. If you understand this point, 50% of the APM is already understood. If you have understood this point, that everything we discuss in advanced performance management is within the context of performance, within the context of performance measurement, performance management. Performance measurement, performance management, 50% of the syllabus you have understood. Here you will learn about the 5 V's of big data, 4 V's or 5 V's of big data. Okay, and here are the management reports, management reporting. Here you will be learning about the lean systems. Lean system. Here you will be learning about integrated report, how integrated report would help an organization to better report its performance. All right, move on. Here is section D, strategic performance measurement. Strategic performance measurement. So what you will learn here, strategic performance measurement in the private sector. Yeah, you will learn here the measures, KPIs. You will learn here the KPIs. Next, divisional performance and transfer pricing. You will learn here the most technical topics of APM. Here is the most technical topics of APM. There is, you will learn EVA. EVA, economic value added plus transfer pricing. Okay, next, strategic performance measurement in not-for-profit organization, not-for-profit, for example, police, for example, schools, for example, hospitals such as Victoria Hospital or Dr. Jitu Hospital in Port Louis, for example. Okay, so you will learn here how to measure performance of not-for-profit organization. And this technique you might have already studied. This technique name is VFM. VFM stands for value for money. Value for money. Here you will learn about the 3 E's. 3 E's. Economy, efficiency, effectiveness. Economy, efficiency, effectiveness. You will learn here about. And these 3 E's are used for measuring performance of not-for-profit organizations. Next, my dear, our course is entering into another interesting stage. This is called non-financial performance indicators. These are also called value drivers. You might have heard this term, value drivers. What are the value drivers? Value drivers basically ensure future performance of the organization. Value drivers ensure future performance of the organization. For example, quality. For example, skills development, training, branding, marketing, research and development, customer satisfaction, customer return. All these are called value drivers, and all these are non-financial performance indicators. You will learn here. Next, role of quality. Oh yes, my dear, you will learn here the very comprehensive topic of quality management. So several techniques you will learn here as part of quality management. For example, you will learn here about the TQM. You will learn here about just in time. You will learn here about Six Sigma. Six Sigma. Next, you will learn here about target costing. You will learn here about Kaizen costing. Kaizen costing. So these are the different techniques. And keep in mind, examiner will ask you evaluate whether Kaizen makes sense for the organization, whether just in time makes sense, whether TQM makes sense, and how these would impact the performance of the organization. Very interesting. And then you will learn here about the human resource management. Human resource management. Yes, my dear. Rewards. You will learn about rewards management. How important are rewards for effective performance management? You will learn here in this topic. Rewards management, types of rewards, and what are the suitable rewards system for an organization. Imagine how beautiful this paper is, because you are learning from financial, from non-financial side. You are learning from bigger picture side. And then behavioral aspects. Behavioral aspects. You will learn here about the behaviors of staff, behaviors of managers, and its impact on performance. For example, why are they not getting best out of them? Why are they not changing, for example? You will learn the different behavioral issues such as gaming, such as ossification, okay? These type of different behavioral issues you will learn here. For example, gaming, ossification, rigidness, okay? These type of. Here we go. Our next section E. Section E. My dear, what you are going to learn here? First of all, let's talk about alternative use of performance measurement and management. Here you will be learning about models of performance measurement. For example, you will learn here about balanced scorecard. You will learn here about balanced scorecard. You will learn here about building block model. Building block model. You will learn here about performance pyramid. You will learn here about activity-based management. You will learn here about value-based management. So there are 5 topics or 5 models as part of this area. Then you will learn here about strategic performance issues and complex organization. You might not heard this kind of term before, complex organization. What is a complex organization? What is a complex organization? What is complex? Do you have some idea? A complex organization. Have you ever heard this term before? Complex organization. I make it simple for you. Simple for you. A complex organization is the one which has these attributes or these features. For example, a large number of suppliers. For example, very complex operations. For example, a large number of customers. For example, a virtual organization. Virtual organization. That is a complex organization. Similarly, a joint venture is considered as complex organization. A joint venture. Why? What is a joint venture? In a joint venture, there are 2 companies which have joined together to complete a project. To complete a project. And imagine both companies may have different objectives. I am sharing with you one of the advanced performance management case. There was a question on this topic where two companies, they proposed or they agreed to start a new project of making wind turbines, or windmills. So one company was expert in generators. Other company was expert in blades. And both companies were having different cultures, were having different risk profiles, were having different risk appetite, were having different issues, challenges, were having different ownership structure. One was owned by a family, other was owned by the institutional investors. Okay, so imagine when two companies with very different backgrounds, they come together, that would become a complex organization. How to manage performance? You will learn here in this area. And the last topic, my dear, predicting and preventing. Predicting and preventing corporate failure. Why companies fail? Why organizations fail? You will learn two models here, two models. Number one, you will learn quantitative models. Such as Z-score, and you will learn about qualitative models, okay, such as Argenti model. All right. So these are the different models for predicting and preventing corporate failure. So my dear, that is all about a very comprehensive discussion of your wonderful, amazing paper, Advanced Performance Management. Okay, I hope you have got the bigger picture about this great exam. Okay, now what are the approaches to examining the syllabus? Quick look, we can have read. Although I will share these slides with you in the evening, you will have a copy of this, but anyway, we need to go through. Approach to examining the syllabus. If an exam builds upon skills and knowledge, examine in the performance management exam at applied skill level. Applied skill means previous exam. This means that many of the knowledge which you have learned at F5 level, you will be using here at this exam. Next, candidate will be expected to demonstrate an integrated knowledge of the subject. This is the point where I want you to understand. Integrated knowledge of the subject means that all topics you need to learn together. All topics are connected to each other. You can write my words. All syllabus topics are interconnected. Don't worry. When we will start explaining topics and learning topics, I will teach you each topic, how each topic is connected with other topics. So no need to worry. This is my job. This is my responsibility. Next, let's talk about exam structure. Your computer-based exam will have 3 hours and 15 minutes time. Okay, 3 hours and 15 minutes time and two sections. Section A with 50 marks case study. Now, this question will be tested in 4 or 5 parts. Will be tested in 4 or 5 tasks will be there in this question. Okay, and you can expect those tasks from the different areas of the syllabus, different areas. Let's have a look. Section A of the exam will always be 50 marks case study based on organization of particular business context. It will include organization mission statement. Yes, yes. If you look at the past papers, all past papers, almost all past papers, normally mission statement is given, strategic objectives are given, and candidates will be expected to be able to assess, evaluate the methods by which organization is controlling, managing, measuring performance in order to achieve its objectives. I give you simple explanation for this. Normally, a 10 to 15 marks question task is based on this part, where you are required to evaluate performance report or performance measurement system. Evaluate existing performance reporting system. Okay, my dear, this is exact question which is so many times repeated. So by having a little bit understanding, you can ensure these 10 to 15 marks easily. Because this question is repeatedly tested in almost every advanced performance management exam. Okay, evaluate performance report. What is missing? What is not measured? You have to highlight. Next, including an evaluation of organizational performance report, its information system. Yes, there would be question on information system, new strategies of projects, and its performance management and measurement systems. Candidates should understand that they will be expected to undertake calculations, draw comparison against relevant information where appropriate, and be prepared to offer alternative recommendations as well. Yes, you will also be required to make recommendations as well. Management accountants are required to look across a range of issues. Management accountants are required to look across a range of issues. A range of issues mean on one side, they are looking at the production, procurement, quality, supply chain, human resource, reward system. Okay, they are looking at a number of issues. Management accounts are required to look across a range of issues which will affect organizational performance, the achievement of objectives, and impact of operations. And so candidates should expect to see section A of the exam focuses on a range of issues from across syllabus. Okay. Sections A, C, and D. Yes, most likely questions would be from section A, C, and D in question A. Okay, all right, move on. Section B. Candidates will be required to answer a further 225-mark questions in section B of the exam, which will normally comprise of scenario-based exam questions. And there will be only 2. There's no choice, keep in mind, no choice. In section B, there will be 2 questions of 25 marks each, and you have to solve both. Here is the good point. One of the section B question will come mainly from syllabus section E. It means, now imagine how easy it is to pass advanced performance management. One compulsory question will be from section E. Now, you know, there are only few topics in section E: balance scorecard, performance pyramid, building block model, and corporate failure models, and ABM and VBM. There are 6-7 topics only. So by having a very good understanding and application of those 5-6 topics, you can ensure these 25 marks. Okay, these 25 marks. So easy it is to pass advanced performance management. And this is my job to make it further easy for you. Other section B question come from any other syllabus section, any other syllabus section, A, B, C, D. Section B question will also require candidates to address a range of issues influencing performance of organization in specific business situation. Okay, all right, move on. How will the CBE exam look like? So here is the section A. This is section A. Section A, 50 marks question, question 1. So this will look like this. The window, the screen window will look like this. Okay, here you will have company information. Here you will have the next economic value added, critical success factors, improvement. This is, I actually have taken from the screenshot of one of the questions. New information system, appendix me, or if you click on number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, you will have the relevant information about that part. Requirements. Requirements are here. If you click on here, you will have, if you already have taken any of the computer-based exam, you know about all these. Okay, and here are the response options. Response option, word processor and spreadsheet. In advanced performance management, there is no presentation is not needed. So you will not see the slides because slides are not required at APM. Slides are only required in the SBL exam. Okay. Okay, so this is how it will look like. You can see the different information, symbols, color, highlighting, strike through, calculator, scratch pad. All these I will be sharing in the coming classes when we will start practice. Okay, how to make use of all these. Here is the blank space. Okay, for another question. Section B question, for example, section B question, okay? So exhibit 1, exhibit 2, exhibit 3, and here is the requirement 1, word processor, spreadsheet, all this. This is how the section B question screen would look like. And by the way, blank workspace, you may be aware, blank workspace are available on the ACCA website for practice, although there are plenty of questions available from the past papers for practice, where you can see the question and start responding, like in this. Okay, you will see the question. You can click on as many exhibits as possible. You can open as many windows as you want. Okay, plus you can start solution, and there are many practice questions available on the platform. However, if you have your own question and you just want to practice online, okay, we will be doing a lot of this feature. We will be using this feature a lot in our practice because all our practice questions will be CB, not in writing. Forget writing, only typing. Okay, so we will be using this blank workspace for our question practice. Resources for APM computer-based exam preparation. What resources are there? There are specimen exams available. There are practice exams available. We will be discussing all these later. Okay, how I will lead and add value. How I will lead and add value. This is very important. A lot of students ask me this question. So I thought to include this as well. I will provide you knowledge book or study manual for advanced performance management, which covers 100% syllabus, A to Z. Very like updated version. You will have updated with the latest syllabus updates, and plus my notes or my study manual is enriched with past papers as well. For every topic, you will see when and how this topic was tested. You will see when and how this topic was tested in the past papers. Okay, you will have summary notes. You will have practice kit, as I have already shared with you, which will include 50+ exam focus questions. You will have continuing support through WhatsApp group. We will have WhatsApp group, okay? After this class, those students who will enroll, okay, we will add them to the WhatsApp group and our communication will start. Next, I will train you how to develop and structured approach to pass APM exam. I will train you how to read the APM questions. I will train you how to connect the dots or information given in the scenario, how to read and analyze tasks, what is the effective communication through writing or improve your writing skill or now in typing, how to structure and draft the answer, how to avoid mistakes, and time management, which is very, very, very critical in advanced performance management. You need to start learning it from day one. Okay, studying advanced performance management. So these are the things you will be able to read. Okay, and time by time, we will be covering all these in our coming classes. All right, what we need to know, what we need to avoid, all these we will be discussing, and this will be available for you will have this all slides you can read. Skills requirement for advanced performance management. What skills are needed? Read the materials, think, understand it in depth, and relate it to particular situation. Knowledge only is not sufficient in advanced performance management. Application is important. Application, application, application. Practice past exam questions dealing with these areas, real life examples. I will be discussing, I will be sharing with you a lot of real life examples and how these would impact performance from the newspapers and from the other sources. Practicing past exam question under time condition is essential. Next, last one, read the examiner reports from the last sittings. You would be amazed that in your notes that I will be providing you, for every question, I have included examiner comments for every question. So my notes, my study manuals are very enriching, where you will see examiner reports, questions, exam marks, everything in one paging at one point. Okay, tips for effective learning productivity. This is just for to refresh. I'm sure you already use all these tricks. Okay, a neat study space, get creative in space you have, remove all distractors, all essentials must be over there, water bottle, snacks. I know you guys, you already keep all these things, okay? So these are ways to improve your focus and attention. Okay, so now we are going to discuss the fundamental concepts. Would you like a 5-minute break? I hope you have not got tired of listening to me for 1 hour and 50 minutes. You would like 5-10 minutes break before we start our learning session?
Always in for a break.
10 minutes break is enough? 10 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So enjoy the break time and we will get back at 10. Okay, see you at 10. Enjoy your meal. Bon appetit. Welcome back. I hope you are now feeling fresh and ready for next 1 hour of study. So we are starting with performance management models. Performance management models. These models you might already have studied in your previous classes, but here we are going to learn in a different context, in a different context, in a different context. Let's begin. Which models we are going to cover today? PEST model, not PESTEL. At APM level, this is PEST model. In previous, you have studied PESTEL model. Then we will cover Porter 5 forces. Then SWOT analysis and performance management. Then Boston Consulting Group matrix. Okay, and if time allows us, we will cover the last topic, Porter generic strategies. Okay, so this is the study plan for now for next 1 hour. Okay, let's start. Performance management models, PEST model. What is PEST model? PEST model is basically a framework which covers political, economic, social, and environmental changes. Okay, political, economic, social, and technological changes, and how these changes would impact performance of the organization. How these changes would impact performance of the organization. So let's start first of all. How political environmental changes would impact performance of the organization. Think around, think big, think big. For example, when there is a political instability in a country, what happens? What happens when there is a political instability? You know that the capital has no, you can say, the money has no place or no nationality. Money has no nationality. Wealth has no nationality. Wealth moves towards where it feels safe. It feels safe. That is the reason Mauritius is considered as a safe country. Why? Because of the political stability. Because of the political stability, because of the stability of the political system. This is the reason that is a destination, that is a preferred choice for investment. So think where there are inconsistent government policies, where there are inconsistent government politics, where governments are changing frequently, and governments are not completing their tenure or their period, okay? Where governments are keep changing their policies, they are not consistent with their monetary policy, their fiscal policy, they are not consistent, they are not investor friendly. What may happen? The capital may flock from that land to more safe lands. Okay, impacts on performance of the organization. You might have heard recently from Nigeria. I give example of Nigeria, for example. You might have heard that a lot of South African companies have closed their Nigerian operations. You might have heard these type of news. Why? Because Nigeria is considered as the politically unstable country. Okay, and the security situation, the law enforcement situation in Nigeria is not considered as safe. That's why many international global companies, they prefer to keep their offices, their presence out of the Nigeria. And same case we saw in South Africa. Although the South Africa is is one of the leading economy in African continent. We all know about this. But because of the political instability, we have seen that lot of investors prefer to move away from South Africa. Okay, I hope you have got the bigger picture. So political. So what factors are important that would impact performance of the organizations? For example, the government policy. For example, the government policy. For example, government plans, divestment and rationalization. For example, the government has a policy to encourage few sectors or few industries or few markets. So those companies which are operating in other industries, they may feel squeezed because of the new government policy. So they would prefer to move away, or they would prefer to rationalize their operations, or they would prefer to shrink their operations because the government policy is not favorable for them. Okay. Similarly, government policy discourages entry into new industry. For example, yes, government has a strong regulation which may discourage the new entrants into new industry, or some industries may be protected by the government and the private companies may not be allowed to enter into those industries. For example, in a lot of countries, electricity and water are health, water, electricity, education. Normally, these are government controlled. So private companies may not be allowed to enter into these areas or industries. Okay, this is also a government policy. Or if there are privatized companies, for example, in UK, the water private companies in water or transport, then the government may have a regulation to put a price cap on those companies, that you are not allowed to increase price beyond this threshold. Are you understanding the point? If you have visited UK, you know better. Okay, the government does not allow the companies to increase prices beyond this threshold. So these are the government policies. For example, pricing. I hope you have understood this point. Okay. Next point. Is government policy affecting competition? Yeah, government policy also affect competition as well. Recent example I can give you. You might have heard that the social media companies are under heavy scrutiny. So this is a good example for us to share. You might have heard that in Australia, these are latest examples. In Australia, the Australian Parliament has passed a new regulation which requires the social media companies to share the revenues of their advertisement on news with the news outlets, Australian news outlets. Because Australian media companies, they requested the government that they are losing their revenues from the ads. And where was those revenue going? Those revenue was going to the social media companies such as Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google. So now the Australian Parliament has passed a law where social media companies have resisted a lot against that regulation. But ultimately, Australian Parliament has passed that regulation to share the revenues earned from ads by social media with media companies or news companies. Do you think it has impact on performance or not? Please share quick. Do you think it has impact on performance of companies or not? If you have understood the example, please quickly share. Do you think it will have impact on the performance of companies, social media companies or not? And you would be amazed why they cried a lot. Because that was the first type of case against social media companies. So they were afraid. Social media companies such as Twitter, Facebook were afraid that this regulation change in Australia would become a, guess what? Would become a, guess what? Would become a precedent for other countries. And the same has started happening now. In European Union, they also have started proposing a similar regulation for social media companies. This is a wonderful example. And by the way, an advanced performance management question may test these type of things. So you should be aware of this bigger picture. Good, move on. So this was the political environment. Next is the economic environment. We all know that how the economic changes or changes in the economic landscape of a country or a market impact performance of the organization. For example, if a country is growing, GDP is growing, everyone grows normally. Everyone grows. So when there's a strong growth in the economy, this attracts investments. This attracts companies to offer new products, to launch new products, to invest more, to increase their production capacity, to increase further, to improve their synergies, their quality. They start offering new brands, new products. But in case, if the economy starts shrinking, if the economy is struggling, such as we can give examples of several African countries, for example, African countries. Because I have a very close eye on Africa because of the supply chains and the raw materials, okay, and commodities. So you might have heard the African boom, this kind of words you might have heard about 10 years back. Have you heard these type of things? African boom, Africa is the next Europe, this and that. You might have heard these type of things 6, 7, 8, 10 years back. But what is the situation today? What is the situation today? Except few economies, such as the Kenya, for example, or Mozambique, for example, or Botswana, for example, the rest is struggling. The rest of Africa is back to struggling. Why? There is a very clear reason, very clear reason. This is called natural resource curse. Have you heard this type of term before? Natural resource curse. They became victim of that because almost all African countries exporting their raw materials. Unfortunately, they did not develop their next stage of economy. There are normally 3 stages of economy, by the way. I think this model should be revised and there should be 4 now, but till now there are 3 stages of economy. Number 1 is called the raw material or the basic economy or the fundamental economy or the first stage of economy where the raw material or agricultural products are produced. Second stage is manufacturing economy, manufacturing or production stage of the economy. Or third is the service economy. But unfortunately, Africa stuck at the first stage. At the first stage of the pyramid of economic well-being. Okay, first stage. That's why when the prices of the commodities and the prices of the agricultural products start going down during especially the pandemic, for example, okay, all the African countries started struggling. Okay, so when there was a lot of hope, we can see there is a kind of disparity now. There's a kind of passive pessimistic approach about Africa now, and there was optimism in previously. Okay, so what are the factors which impact the economic environment, how it impact performance of the organization? Inflation, for example, we know inflation is where prices are going up. So when there are prices going up, it increases the cost of goods sold, and the cost, it adds more pressure to the cost of the companies. And now I'm going to link it with a very interesting point. For example, if a company has a cost leadership model, there are three types of generic strategy. There are three types of generic strategies: cost leader, differentiation, and focus. A cost leader model is already on high cost pressure, because a cost leader is selling its products at low prices, where it is earning very minimal margin. A cost leader already playing at very small, very thin margins. But when there's inflation, the cost will go up, and this will erode, this will remove the margins of the cost leader. And what will ultimately happen? Its performance may start struggling. It may fail. It may fail to continue performance. Next, interest rates. Low interest rates, high interest rates. High interest rates mean financial risk for the companies. High interest, this discourages borrowing, because the finance cost will increase, and high finance cost mean high financial risk for the companies. Keep in mind, my dear. So this would impact performance of the organization. If there are high interest cost, okay, there would be little profits left for shareholders. This may discourage investors, new investors, to invest in that company with high borrowing. Next, exchange rate. Exchange rate. What impact do these have on the cost of overseas imports? Okay, like exchange rate is normally impacted by the importer or exporters. Importer or exporter. Okay, importer or exporter. So when exchange rates are going up, mean if, for example, the local currency is weakening, imports will become expensive. If local currency is stronger or getting stronger, exports become expensive. So in case of fluctuation in exchange rate, it impacts the performance of import or export focused companies. Next, government fiscal policy. For example, fiscal policy is about the taxation, tax rates, or expenditure of the government. So again, this impact performance of the organization. Next, government spending, business cycle. For example, the economy is going through a boom period or bust period. Economic cycles. So this again impact performance of the organization. For example, we have seen in Europe, for example, how the Greece, the Italy, and Spain, how they were struggling after the 2010 recession or 2010 financial crisis, how these European countries were struggling. Okay, but now slowly, they are picking the pace now. Italy, Spain, they are slowly picking the pace. And then funding available. So all these are economic factors. Next, social cultural factors. How social or cultural factors impact performance of the organization. For example, the class, ethnic background, religion, geography, age. Okay, age mean a very interesting example for you. Mean the percentage of the youth population. Here I can give you example of, for example, India. The 60%, it is said that 60% of the population of India is youth, okay, young people. That's why we see the world's largest youth market, and the the foreign brands, the cosmetics brands, the beauty brands, the fashion brands, the leisure brands, the entertainment brands. All these brands are coming in India. Why? Because of the world largest proportion or the population of youth. This is the result of age. Okay, we know youth, they spend a lot. Okay, they spend on clothing. They get new jobs, they spend on clothing, they go for dine out, they go for entertainment, music. Okay, so where there's a youth population, more spending. Old population, for example, Europe now, we know that a lot of European countries are struggling because of the age factor. Population over there, you might have heard that in many European countries, the population have started shrinking. Even in Japan as well, where the largest proportion is now the retired people. Retired people. So those brands which focus the youth, these markets would not be attractive. So ultimately, they may prefer to quit from these markets. I hope you have understood these type of decisions, and this is also tested in advanced performance management to make it clear. Okay, then gender-based. Okay, gender, for example, the which class to target, male, female. Work style, we have seen that the work style have changed now. Okay, there is a more focus on the virtual. There's a more focus on the virtual, or even during the pandemic. Okay, when the whole work shifted on the like remote working. Okay, lot of industries started struggling because of the virtual economy. I would use word virtual economy. I will share a few videos with you to watch later in our WhatsApp group about how the real estate expensive, or we can say the like wealthy real estate or upmarket real estate in mega cities such as New York, London, San Francisco, and these type of cities, the real estate properties are struggling, okay, because the rents have fallen dramatically. All right, so I will share a video on this topic, real estate in mega cities as a result of pandemic, as a result of pandemic and remote working now. So office spaces are available in abundance. Office spaces are available. Okay, so rents are falling. More supply of office spaces than demand. This is new phenomenon. I would write it. This is new normal. This is new normal. Let's talk about the lifestyle changes. This pandemic has given us more cautious about our health, our fitness, okay, and our social relationships. This pandemic has given us opportunity to think about ourselves. It has given us opportunity to slow our pace in our life and think about ourselves and around us. Who are around us? Who are dear ones to us? Our parents, our siblings, our kids, our brothers, sisters, and those who really care for us. This pandemic has given us opportunity to think about them. Okay, not only about the lifestyle, about other social relationships as well. So people now becoming are more and more health conscious. Okay, they prefer to eat organic food, healthy food, and avoid soda, carbonated drinks, and junk food. So that's why new industries are coming. Such as, you might have heard vegan concept. Vegan. Yes, you might have heard, this is our new lifestyle, vegan. And if you have visited Europe or America, you might have noticed that the number of restaurants, so the vegan restaurants are growing. Okay, you might have heard about food-grown meat. Lab-grown meat. Have you heard? Hello? Lab-grown meat. Have you heard these type of things? Okay, these are the new trends in the industries. Okay, I hope you have got good idea about how the social culture, environmental changes would impact the performance of the organizations. Move on. Next, technological factors. Oh yes, we are in the center, we are in the mid of technological transformation, tech transformation. We are talking about 5G. We are talking about the Internet of Things. We are talking about cloud computing. We are talking about smart devices. Okay, we're talking about smart devices, and all this is about technological factors. That's why you would be amazed. I must share with you, you are my dear students, I must share with you that there is new business models are coming. These are called service-based business models. Service-based business models, where manufacturers are not selling their products, but they are selling as service. Selling as, and these type of models are growing fast, and a lot of companies are following these models, such as Philips. Philips is the pioneer in the circular economy. Circular economy. Circular economy concept is based on what goes, it means, like you can say, it is like a circle. There should be no waste at all in a circular economy. Reuse, recycle, okay? So Philips is the pioneer. So what Philips is doing now, Philips has now already started. It is not selling its lights to cities. Rather, it is renting out lights for the street lights to the various big cities in the world. Okay, so it charges per hour basis. So all the maintenance, all the energy is managed by Philips by itself. All the energy is sourced from the sun. Okay, so there are batteries. There are batteries that store energy from this at the daytime. At the nighttime, these street lights use their stored power to enlighten the streets. And Philips is not selling it. It is renting out to cities and charging per hour. And you would be amazed. A lot of companies are following this model. Mercedes also has started similar type of project. Volkswagen also have started similar type of project. Michelin, the world #1 tire manufacturer, also started similar. For trucks, it is one of the type of tires. It is not selling for trucks. It is renting out. There are sensors. Please listen carefully. You would be thinking of how it gets data about the activity. there are sensors inside those tires which keep sending signals, data to the Michelin data centers, where it has the information about every tire it sells, every tire, the location of that tire, the condition of that tire. Okay, location of the tire, condition of the tire. So after some time, it can get back that tire. All right, this is called circular economy. Circular economy. IKEA also have started similar project. Guys, these are the new normals. These are the new normals. I hope you have understood. Technological factors, if we talk further about technological factors, okay, there are ERPs, for example, enterprise resource planning systems. There is a more focus on the integration of the system, softwares, functions, and a lot of other things are happening in technology. There is a smart production or robotics, supply chains, and a lot of things. So technology is at the center of any organization strategy and performance measurement. I hope you have understood all this. Move on. Okay, now let's talk about how this topic is tested in the paper. Advanced performance management, how this topic is tested. You might be thinking the similar case, that how is this tested? Let's discuss that. Okay, let's discuss that. Please note down. Please note down how best would be tested in advanced performance management. An exam question may require students, to evaluate how various environmental factors would impact its performance, and suggest suitable KPIs, to measure those changes. Suitable KPIs to measure those changes. Okay, to measure KPIs. What is a KPI? Key performance indicator. Okay, suitable key performance indicator to measure those changes. Move on. Next is Porter 5 forces model. Porter 5 forces. You can see here, I already told you my notes. So you can see how this topic was tested in the past paper. It was tested in December 2018. So you can have a look at how this was tested. Okay. Porter 5 forces model. We know Porter 5 forces model has 5 forces. Mean how this model focuses on how the change in the competitive forces would impact the performance of the organization. This is in the context of advanced performance management. How the changes in the 5 forces or any force of the competition would impact performance of the organization. For example, number 1 force is the threat of new entrants. Okay, how this would impact performance of the organization. Threat of substitute products, how this would impact performance of the organization. Bargaining power of customers, bargaining power of suppliers, and rivalry among existing firms, how all these would impact performance of the organization. Okay, so first, let's have a look at what are all these 5 forces. Then we will look further deeper. Okay, so first of all, the threat of new entrants. What is the threat of new entrants? Threat of new entrants means whether if a new player is entering into my industry or my market, how the new player would impact my business model and what type of actions I need to take, how I need to respond to the new entrant. Okay, and imagine if the new entrant is Amazon. Imagine if the new entrant is Walmart, if the new entrant is Microsoft, if the new entrant is Google, if the new entrant is like big multinational companies like Unilever, for example, or Coca-Cola, for example, or McDonald's, for example, how can a small player performance would be affected? This is a good question. You can think of this. Okay, threat of new entrants. So the threat of new entrants is determined by the what it's called barriers to entry. If there are strong barriers to entry, the threat will be low. And if there are weak barriers to entry, the threat will be high. So let's have a look at what are the barriers to entry, or what might the barriers to entry. For example, economies of scale. If existing players are operating at economies of scale, their cost will be low. So at that cost, they can charge low price. So at that price, for the new player, it may not be possible to continue. But online retail has changed the total landscape. Okay, online retail has changed or removed even this economies of scale for some industries as well, because in online there's a very minimal cost. There are a lot of costs you can avoid, which are required when you have the physical presence. So by avoiding all those costs, you can sell the product at the lowest prices. Capital requirement. Some industries require high capital investment. For example, mining industry. For example, the wind power projects. For example, oil and gas exploration. These type of projects. Or if you want to have the semiconductor company, you would be required to invest billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. Okay, to have a semiconductor industry. You may know about TSMC. This is world's largest semiconductor company. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company Limited in Taiwan. Your phones may have a chip made by TSMC. So imagine if you visit or watch video about the TSMC, you would be amazed how big and how automatic and the precise factories are these, where even they cannot afford you can say, the invisible spots of dust cannot be afforded. Spots or invisible spot which human eye cannot see. Those spots even cannot be afforded in those factories where chips are manufactured. To just imagine the atmosphere, the situation over there. Billions of dollars of investment and the know-how and the tech. So every company, if any company want to enter into the chip making industry, everyone cannot, because you will need the highest level of knowledge, technical know-how and the investment. And then the market access. Who will buy your chips? Next, my dear, access to supply or distribution channels, supplier customer loyalty, cost disadvantage independent of scale, expected retaliation. This means how the existing players may retaliate or respond. government regulation, and differentiation. So all these are factors which can work as the barriers to entry. Barriers to entry. Barriers to entry. Next. Power of buyers. Power of buyers. Yes, buyers can also become competitor as well. Or buyers can also impact performance of the organization. And especially imagine if your buyers are too stronger than suppliers. For example, imagine if your buyer is Walmart, if your buyer is Nike or Nike, if your buyer is Adidas, if your buyer is Levi's, if your buyer is H&M, if your buyer is Zara, if your buyer is Next, imagine how big are these companies. And your factory, your company may be a small supplier of, for example, shoes maker. You would be making t-shirts, you would be making trousers, you would be making jackets, you would be making like other supplies for your customers. So your customer can dictate your company what price to charge, what quality to make. All these dictation they can ask. Okay, for example, these days, all the big fashion retailers, they are requiring their suppliers, because I was going through the documents. They are requiring their suppliers in developing countries such as Bangladesh, Pakistan, Philippines, okay, and Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, to be more environmental and socially responsible, okay, to offer more reports, to have more measures of environmental and social performance, more compliance. More compliance. This resulting, for example, if Adidas asks you, your company, if Adidas asks your company to use more natural dyes, to use more organic dyes, to more use of organic raw materials, to make energy. Yeah, I was going through a textile factory document that factory supplies to Zara, and Zara has, it is just a few weeks back, I visited a factory. So Zara asked that supplier that till next year, 20% of energy should be from renewable resources. 20% of energy should come from the renewable resources. This is the requirement from the Zara towards one of the textile company, which makes the zippers and the fleece trousers for Zara. This is what I have seen the documents. Imagine. So now that company, that supplier is very worried about. That's why they contacted us to help them to become more sustainable about the water usage, about the chemical usage, about their processes, and about their energy. You are enjoying the real performance management. This is called the real performance management. Okay? So your buyers can ask you and they can impact their performance. Now, as a result, this company, which we are now advising, this is going to invest almost minimum of $150 million in reinventing or renewing their processes, all the processes. They need to install ETP. ETP stands for effluent treatment plants. These are the plants which are required, which treats the water before discharging into the streams and rivers and canals. All right, so next, power of suppliers. When suppliers are big, they can also dictate you. your company. When buyers are small and suppliers are strong, they can again dictate on the prices. They can dictate on the quality. They can impact performance on the supplies and the availability as well, when suppliers are bigger than customers. Okay. Bigger supplier example, we can say Microsoft, for example. Microsoft is a very big supplier of Office Windows, okay, Office and Windows, the operating system, or the supplier is Apple, for example, okay, or the supplier is Samsung, for example. So imagine they can impact their customers not only by charging high prices, but they can also impact in terms of quality. They can also impact their customers in terms of availability of the stock, okay, availability of the stock. Okay, and the next is threat of substitutes. So wow, substitutes are everywhere now. And how the virtual economy and the internet has opened the floodgates for the substitutes. We have the substitutes for everything, everything, okay? So these are the new threats. These are the new threats for the companies. New threats in online retailing. Online retailing, new threats are emerging for companies in terms of the substitutes. All right. And the next one is competitive rivalry. Competitive rivalry, how the existing players are competing with each other. Okay, what is the level of competition among existing players? Whether that competition is severe or lower. Okay, there are a few factors we can discuss which determine the competitive rivalry within existing companies within industry market. For example, there are a number of equally balanced competitors of similar size. Competition is likely to intensify as one competitor strives to attain dominance over other. The rate of market growth is slow. The concept of life cycle suggests that in a mature market, market share has to be achieved at the expense of competitors. Yes, and especially when the market is mature or the market is saturated, it would be difficult to grow unless you start playing tricks, drop price, or acquire your competitors, acquisition, mergers. These type of strategies would be suitable for that type of market. Okay, so this is the situation of competitive rivalry. Now let's talk about how this topic is tested in the exam. I have included for your kind attention. How was this topic examined? So it was examined in December 17, question number 2, but this question is not available. You know, now there are 4 exams. There are 4 exams available, but not all question papers are made available, okay, for practice and for the students. Only 2 out of 4 question papers are made available, and even some questions are made available, not all questions from one sitting. This question is not available. There was another question in December 15, question 4. This question is also not available, but anyway, you can have a look. I have tried to get information from the examiner reports, so you can have a look. Okay, now you need to take notes how this topic would be tested. How 5 forces would be tested in advanced performance management exam. In exam, how this topic would be tested. Okay, please take note. An exam question may require candidates to analyze how various forces of competition, would impact performance of a particular organization given in scenario, performance of a particular organization given in scenario, and evaluate existing responses, would be sufficient. Evaluate existing responses would be sufficient. Existing responses or existing measures would be existing responses or existing measures would be sufficient to tackle the threats. The question may further require candidates to make suitable recommendation for further measures to keep track of potential threats. Further measures to keep track of potential threats. Yes, my dear, this is how 5 forces is tested. So you may have noticed it is very different than it was, if you have studied previously. Here, 5 forces application is different. Move on. We have time. We can cover SWOT analysis as well, because we have few minutes. SWOT analysis. At your previous studies, either SPL or P3, you have studied. SWOT analysis is normally the analysis of internal and external environment of the organization. Okay, SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. Okay. Screen is frozen. Oh, thank you very much for letting me know. This is the problem with technology. When you start relying more and more on technology, sometimes it may ditch. It's clear now? Thank you very much. I appreciate, my dear. Thank you, Anushka. Is it now clear? Thanks. Okay, so we are talking about the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is used to analyze the internal and external environment of the organization. SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Strength and weaknesses are about the internal environment. Internal environment mean strengths. Internal environment mean skills, resources, competencies, and capabilities. Skills, resources, competencies, and capabilities. So when an organization is very strong, when an organization is very strong in these, this will become strengths of the organization. This will become even the brand reputation as well. The brand reputation as well. This is also sometimes become strength, or otherwise it would become weakness for the organization. Skills, resources, competencies, capabilities, brand reputation. Okay? If an organization has all these, it will be strength. Otherwise, it will become weakness. That's why in the beginning of our today class, I was focusing on the human capital. Human capital. That why we need to reskill our workforce. Our skills need to be revised, reinvented. Otherwise, these would become our weaknesses. Next, opportunities and threats are about external environment of the organization. These are about external environment. So when there are changes in the external environment, these would pose either as opportunities or threats for the organization, For example, I was sharing with you the Australia case, that how the Australian Parliament has passed a new law which binds the social media companies to share the revenues of advertisement with Australian media outlets. Now, this is a threat. This is a threat for social media companies globally, because this will become a precedent for the rest of the governments across the globe to start scrutinizing the revenues of social media companies. Okay, so a change in the, so we use normally PEST model, PEST plus 5 forces model. We use PEST plus 5 forces model to analyze whether there are opportunities or threats emerging for the organization. And by the way, for strengths and weaknesses, we use value chain model. This is also part of your syllabus, value chain model, but we will discuss it later. So value chain model is used for analyzing strengths and weaknesses, and PEST and 5 forces are used for analyzing and identifying the opportunities and threats which are emerging in the external environment of the organization. Okay, all right, so this is a small diagram for you. You can have a quickly look at. Strengths and weaknesses, these are about internal environment. Opportunities and threats are about external environment. Strengths and weaknesses are also called enablers. What? Enablers. And weaknesses and threats are called barriers. All right. So strengths, for example, what do we do exceptionally well? What do we do exceptionally well? Such as my favorite brand. Imagine my favorite brand. My favorite brand is, my old students know I used to praise a lot about Apple, but I have dropped this one from my favorite brand now. Why? Because it has started exploiting its position. So what do we do exceptionally well? For example, think of the Adidas, for example. Think of Samsung, for example. What do they do exceptionally well? Think of MCB Bank in Mauritius, for example, the one of the most innovative bank in Africa. I always praise. Very innovative. You can see how the bank is keep advancing with the time, how it is adapting with the time. Okay. What advantages we have? What valuable assets and resources do we have? What do employees, customers see as our strengths? These are very beautiful. Every organization can have its SWOT analysis using the same questions. Now think of weaknesses. What could we do better? This is our weak area. What are we criticized for or receive complaints about? What are we vulnerable? Where are we vulnerable? Where are we vulnerable? What are our weak spots? Weak spots. Okay? Talk about opportunities. What opportunities do we know about but have not addressed? Okay? Are there emerging trends on which we can capitalize? And threats? Are weaknesses likely to make us critically vulnerable? Because threats normally arise from either internal sources or external sources. So internal sources of threats are weaknesses. Weaknesses. Next, what external roadblocks exist for our strategy and performance? Is there significant change coming with regard to customers? So this is the way how we can do our SWOT analysis. And this is how we need to learn it. I think time is over. So in the next class, we will be starting a little bit from the SWOT in our coming class as well. Okay. In the coming class, we will be covering our very famous budgeting topic. Okay. In next class, we will be covering budgeting and other small topics from advanced performance management. So this is time to close the session. I must say all, thank you very much for choosing my course, for joining my course, for being present in my course. It was a great seeing all of you. Hope you enjoyed my course. Hope this course gave you some highlight about the next coming our classes. And this course may have highlight how much I am passionate, how much I love this subject, and how much I care for this subject. Okay, I always appreciate those students who take this paper, because this paper is close to life. Thank you very much, guys. Stay blessed. Have a very beautiful weekend and take care of you, your families, and the beautiful Mauritius. Okay, that is a paradise. Take care of Mauritius. Thank you very much. It is time to say goodbye.
Thank you. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Bye.